Hi, I'm Firen. I'm a licensed midwife here in the Bay Area, and I have a home birth practice, which means that I deliver my clients' babies in their homes. Now, I think about birth all the time, but even though every one of us in this room has been to at least one birth, it's not something most people think about much. So over the next few minutes, I'm gonna take you back in time and tell you about the story of your own beginning and give you a glimpse into my world. Now, most of you have seen a picture of yourself around this age, a couple of months old, and you were clean and squishy and cuddly, but at the moment of your birth, you looked more like these little guys. You might have been a little purple or blue or covered in that lotiony stuff you see in the top left corner called vernix, or maybe you had a cone head like this guy from the pressure of traveling through the birth canal. But let's go back even a little bit further. Your mom carried you for about 40 weeks in her belly, and in the first 10 of those 40 weeks, the foundation for every major organ system in your body was formed. Your heart, your brain, your spine, your kidneys, the whole shebang. She likely received some type of prenatal care during her pregnancy, and the midwife or OB would listen to your heart and measure her belly to make sure that you were growing well. And she felt your first movements at about 20 weeks in, and they felt like butterflies, like little flutters in the bottom of her stomach. Now, your lungs were the last major organs to mature, and when they were ready, they produced a protein that signaled to your mom's body that you were ready to be born. Your mom responded by producing a complex cocktail of hormones that started the process of labor. And over the next 6 to 24 hours or more, she worked really, really hard. And her uterus, which was the largest muscle in her body at that time, contracted, pulling up the muscle fibers and opening up that little inner doorway at the bottom called the cervix. Now, when the cervix was completely out of the way, it was time to push. If you were first born, she may have pushed anywhere from half an hour to 3 hours or more to move you those few inches through the birth canal. If you were second, third, or fourth, she might have pushed a mere few minutes, a big difference. And boom, most of you were born head first, with your face facing towards your mom's back. And your head was the biggest part of your body, but it wasn't quite as hard as it is now. It was a little bit more soft and pliable so that it could fit through your mom's bony pelvis. Woo! Giving birth is pretty intense, so let's have a kitten break. Everybody take a deep breath, shake it off. We have some more photos to come. Once your head was born, the midwife or OB reached down by your neck to check to see if you had a cord around your neck, and if you did, they simply hooked their fingers around it and looped it over your head like I'm doing in this picture. Contrary to popular belief, a cord around the neck is not usually an emergency. After your head came your shoulders, and then the rest of your body probably slid out pretty easily, and your birth team immediately got to work drying you off with a warm towel and stimulating you to breathe. Your first breath was the most difficult breath you ever took, and with that effort, your lungs went from being flat and filled with fluid to literally popping open like popcorn as they filled with air. Your entire circulatory system rerouted, and your underlying skin tone went from purplish to pink. At the same time, your mom was being flooded by a whole bunch of hormones, most notably oxytocin, or the love hormone, which caused her to fall deeply and madly in love with you. Your umbilical cord, which nourished you as a fetus, was a bright electric blue color moments after you were born. It spiraled and contained 2 arteries and 1 vein, and it was cut shortly after your birth, freeing you to be an independent person. And while your mom was gazing into your eyes, the OB or midwife was waiting for your placenta to be born, and it looked like this. It was round and meaty and organy and filled with blood, and it was about the size of a personal pan pizza. All right. Another kitten break. Now everybody can relax. Your birth is complete, but I'm not quite done. I'm standing here in front of you talking about birth because the way we are born is incredibly important. It speaks volumes about our values as a culture. Now, I recognize that many of you were not born in the way that I just described. You were born by C-section, or you came butt first, or you were adopted and don't know how you were born. And that's okay. There are many ways to be born. But however birth unfolds, it is always a highly vulnerable time for a woman. It is not just a physical experience. It is a psychological one, an emotional one, even a spiritual one. And because it touches on so many levels of our being, it is also highly complex and controversial. I invite each of you tonight to get curious about this really powerful part of life. Get curious and get informed. There is so much information out there, and there's a lot more to it than you might think. Thank you.